breaking barriers and bridging the gaps between patients and doctors. Welcome to Brainstorming with the Docs and your co-hosts, Dr. Glenn Harrison and Dr. Kolby Condos.
All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Brainstorming with the Docs. I'm Dr. Kolby Condos, my co-host, Dr. Glenn Harrison. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's been a while. It's like I just mentioned.
It has, man. You just got back from a trip back to Canada. You had
the Great
White
North. The Great White North.
Some time with some family.
Yeah, I think it was hotter there than Denver, but I think it's just the humidity that, you have in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. I was telling you earlier, the weather here has been absolutely atrocious this summer. So I'm not to rush summer to be over, but I'm definitely looking forward to maybe some cooler weather and maybe not 80% humidity all the time.
Has there been any tornadoes there yet?
You know, there's been like two, and there was sighting of a funnel cloud today. So I guess we'll see. It didn't get as bad this time. A couple of weeks ago, we got some like golf ball sized hail and it destroyed a bunch of roofs and everything. So yeah, we're hoping that those are a thing of the past. But today, so we'll get back on topic. That was a little bit of a tangent in case anyone was wondering what the weather's like in our neck of the woods. So we have talked a lot previously about habits that we implement to improve our health and, strategies that we do to build our routines and stuff like that. But when we were starting to go through some other options, we kind of came up with the idea of what are 5, tools or devices or something in our lives that really help improve our health and daily habits. And we're going to talk about those today. So if this is your first time listening or watching, please hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you continue to get the notifications of the content when it comes out. You never know when we might come out with something that is applicable to you. So here we go. What are the 5 tools or devices in our day that make our lives easier and healthier?
Yeah, well, we talked on this before, but we talked about more our habits. And I think the habits are maybe the most important, but I know everybody is looking for something tangible. But yeah, this is a little bit different than habits. These are just kind of tangible entities, if you will. So one of the ones now, I didn't put mine in a level in a specific hierarchy by no means, but professional grade supplements. I got so accustomed, and I know you have as well, so accustomed to having them. Even when I traveled to Canada, I had my little arsenal with me for the things I need and the things to keep me in balance as much as possible. So that's a big one for me. It's not everything. And we've always talked about that it doesn't replace lifestyle, but having something that does work and more importantly, knowing how to use it can be great. So that's one for me. What is, we'll go back and forth. What is one for you? What's
the number one thing that I have done in my life that has improved my health and well-being more than anything else is I married my wife. So the reason
very noble. She must be listening.
Yeah, I hope. If not, what are we doing here? Right. If my wife's not even listening to our podcast, like, oh geez. But, yeah, the reason this is so important is she's a really good cook. She cooks really, really healthy meals. She's really, really good. She's also really invested in a healthy lifestyle for not only ourselves, but also for our kids. It's a lot easier, I feel like, when you're on the journey with someone. So someone to help divide the cooking, someone who's on the same page as you as far as like what you're going to feed your kids, and you want to be healthy and you want to be around for a while when you enjoy being around the people that you love and enjoy being around. So for sure, it's a little bit of an incentive to maintain that healthy.
Yeah. The ultimate accountability partner.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my number one. There you go, Diana.
my number 2. And again, I didn't put them in a sense of hierarchy, but a second one is my oven, my kitchen oven. I would have never thought that would have been a big tool. But I find the oven is just, and I have patients all the time saying, well, how do you do this? I'm not a chef by no means. I can cook food that is edible, but healthy. But the oven is a savior for me because, if you can put something in the oven and turn it on and walk away, I think that saves you. And, you can roast pretty well anything that will be healthy. So oven is a simple tool. Most people have an oven or access to an oven. So I would say that would be a big one, just because you can cook something and I can be working on something else and forget about it. The timer goes off and I'm all set.
There you are. What do you think 20-year-old Glenn is saying right now? Like when he just heard you say that you're super thankful for your oven.
I think there's probably something. I probably hit my head or something.
So for number two, I put my accountability partner, which is you. I think that the thing that provides so much value out of this is you really help me keep my life in balance. When we discuss, what our goals and aspirations are, what things we're trying to achieve. I think it makes it
You're going to make me tear up.
more digest. 20-year-old Kolby's also like, what is this guy talking about? But makes, it helps keep things into perspective. It helps you really help me maintain balance as far as like my work home life, which is super helpful. So that's number two for me, maintaining like health, because I think that a lot of times people just think health is like, oh, eating healthy, exercising. But I think also having things like clear boundaries, goals and aspirations, like those are also things that can lead to a healthy lifestyle. So
having an echo chamber too, right? Having somebody that's a neutral party that you can bounce things off. Well, just at the start of this podcast, I'm just coming back into it. I was on days off, so I came back. I felt overwhelmed. I was kind of shooting from the hip, throwing it at you, and seeing what would bounce back. So yeah. Accountability and some non-biased, neutral, respected opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
Happening. So,
someone who has got your best interest at heart, but isn't a yes man. I think that's important too.
That is, yeah, for sure. We've done that. We tore each other apart off and on once in a while.
Yeah. It needs to happen occasionally.
Mm-hmm. And the third, which is I would put him at the top. I would say my dog, my dog Border. So he should be number one when he is, but just for the list,
Border's not listening. He doesn't care.
Yeah. Definitely he's, like most dogs, I don't know if he's so much an accountability partner. Maybe he gives me structure, surprisingly enough. I'll maintain my evening walks. Morning is always going to be at the same time. Bedtime will actually be at the same time. Beyond companionship, I would say that's definitely something that helps me with my routine, with my health, with my happiness. I would say definitely. Border.
Yeah. I mean, people with pets are generally more healthy and happy, right? So
yeah.
All right. So number three for me is better cooking equipment. And I think that this is something that I definitely would not have said maybe 10 years ago.
The 20-year-old Kolby.
Yeah. 20-year-old me was like, what? But I think that when you invest in things that are quality, and this could be pots and pans, this could be knives, this could be, cooking knives. This could be one of my favorite things is like my grill. Outside, I have a pellet smoker that I really love.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And the reason that I like all this stuff is it makes it faster and more efficient. Everyone's been trying to cut something up with a super dull kitchen knife. It takes forever, and it's not safe. Number two is like it makes it more flavorful. So and cleanup is easy, and it makes it more enjoyable. The thing I really love about like say the smoker outside, I prepare the meal outside, throw the meal on the grill outside, stick the temperature probe into it, walk away. In 40 minutes, the temperature alert goes off. I walk outside, I cut it up outside, and I don't have to clean the kitchen.
That's right.
So it's really fast.
Less pain to achieve the goal you want. So you're more likely to do it.
Yeah. And I feel like, you can cook this big, robust meal, but then after you're done, you're like, wow, it was really good. And if you're anything like me, like the sink is full of 90 pots and pans and bowls and knives. And my wife's like, you're doing it. I don't care if you cooked. Like you got to let me condense this.
Yeah. And there's too much of a negative consequence to having this big, robust meal. And that's a common thing people fall into. They cook one really grand meal, and then after that they regret the cleanup, and they really have to build the confidence, the courage, have the right time. It has to be on the weekend. Everything just has to be or a long weekend. I've seen people
like
only
revolves
cook
around the whole ordeal of cooking, right?
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's really, really good. Proper cooking equipment and that pellet grill. Mine, I'm using it all the time.
I love it. I use it in the wintertime. I use it all the time, and it's like awesome.
That's right. The next one for me, number 4 for me, would be my workout equipment at home. It gets rid of a lot of barriers of, I have less time, I can't travel, or what happened. COVID had restrictions at one time for, going to the gym and all of that. So it gets rid of these barriers to being able to get a workout in. There's less and less and less excuses. Now, the problem with workout equipment, it doesn't work out by itself,
Yeah, it doesn't do it for you, right?
Yeah, and people in North America don't, get out of shape because a lack of exercise equipment. So many people have exercise equipment with an inch of dust on it in their garage. It's just never been used. But having it in the basement, I think for me is very, very simple. And, I turn up the music, I can get out, get my workout one and done in 30, 40 minutes. And it saves me. It kind of cleans the mind up. So that would be number 4 for me, my workout equipment.
I actually put number 4 as my exercise equipment. Also, I have a resistance bike. I'm a big fan of like interval training. There's a book out there. I think we've actually done a podcast on this.
Yeah, we did. That was one of our earlier podcasts.
Called The Most Clinically Effective Form of Exercise. We kind of detail basically all this stuff. Really enjoy that. It's quiet. Again, there's no barriers. Obviously, with 2 kids, I can't really run to the gym first thing in the morning and then leave my wife high and dry to get everything ready and get the kids off to school and daycare. So nice, get the kids put down, pump out a quick 20, 30-minute ride, and then you feel a lot better. Energy's better. You're more confident.
Right.
Bingo. And it's pretty cheap, to tell you the truth. It's a minimal investment.
Yeah. So that's we're on the same page with that. Number 5 for me would be lab tests. That's another thing, and I even, spend a bunch of time and effort on my website because I think if people just don't know, we there's so much we've talked about lab testing on our, because of what we do on this podcast. But I even set up my website for people that they could access labs without a doctor off the website. Labs don't diagnose, or, they can cause problems if you don't know how to interpret them. But I think people should have access to those things. I think that's the most important thing. They should have access to the tools and lab tests. I was able to find out I have a couple autoimmune disorders, and I caught it before there was a symptom. So I'm so grateful for it. And I can check in with these markers at any time I want. So lab tests, I think, are fundamental. I think it's the cheapest and the easiest way to have a snapshot of your health. And it keeps
can you imagine how many people could prevent, a chronic disease?
Oh my God.
If they would have just been screened early.
Properly
and they go,
screened.
well, it's not warranted because there's no symptoms yet. Well, if you just run and I think that we've covered this. Realistically, there's panels out there that you can get for less than $250 that are very comprehensive.
That's right.
But if there's something that's, starting to trend in a bad direction, then you can catch it relatively early. So actually it's funny because my number 5, I kind of broke down into a couple of different things that you kind of already summarized. And my number 5 is knowledge. I'm fortunate that I went into a profession where I gained a lot of knowledge and I learned a lot about stuff. And that stuff includes how to use supplements, how to use and interpret lab tests, and then what the appropriate diet is that fits my lifestyle really well. So that one's probably, should be 2, I guess, in my hierarchy. But I'm super fortunate, and I feel blessed to have learned all this stuff and be able to implement it in my day-to-day life as well.
That's right. Not to go too far on a tangent, but just think in your personal life with what you learned about your health and, your parameters, your weak links, or even your kids.
The way my kids eat is completely different than 99% of the population based on my genetics, my wife's genetics. There's certain things that we avoid.
But if you didn't know the things that you do, can you imagine how, your health would have maybe spiraled in the wrong direction?
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of frightening to think that. So, we do drink our own Kool-Aid here. We have to. The number 6 for me would be something I thought was funny when I was saying, okay, what are the things that I really, really, really like in my life that kind of, I know, keep me grounded? I guess that's the biggest thing amongst the life's chaos. And that's my bathtub. Having Epsom salt baths every now and again, probably, three times a week, probably. And I started to prescribe it as, detox baths for people. And then I started to do them more and more. Now I'm not really doing it as a detox effort. I'm doing it as a relaxation effort to facilitate sleep. If I ever find I'm wound up a little bit too much or had too intense of a day or too stressful of a day, and I think my sleep might be compromised, I'll just, pull out one of my personal secret weapons, and I'll have a 30-minute or an hour bath before bed. And I'll tell you, it just turns up the sleep dial that much higher. So it
we've harped on the importance of sleep. So if you're having troubles with sleep, take that little nugget to the bank and try it.
Mm-hmm. It's well worth it. Yeah. Epsom salt bath. Yeah.
There you go.
So that's not my number 6.
And I didn't do 6 because I named it the top 5 tools, Glenn. You overachiever.
So yeah, those are some things. Now, I think everybody, if they can reflect on their own lives, and try to do a little bit of an inventory. If something feels good that they have in their life, that is,
and it's contributing to it in a positive way, right? Because there's certain things that make you feel good that maybe you shouldn't.
That's right. That's right. If it's short-term good, it's probably bad.
Right.
Probably almost always bad. But yeah, these are our kind of, thoughts and tools. But just talking about it, and just when we were writing out our list, it reminded me of how important they are. So now I use them even more.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys like the content this week. Again, please hit like and subscribe and keep listening, because we're going to continue to roll out new topics each and every week. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can do so. We have an email associated with the podcast. It's info@brainstormingwiththedocs.com. You can get a hold of myself, Dr. Kolby, at northlakescheropractic.com. You can get a hold of Dr. Glenn at drgharrison.com, or stay tuned, because you never know. We might cover what you have going on next. So
we will. All right. That was good, Dr. Kolby. I look forward to the next one.
All right. Sounds good, bud.